Hi, my name's Jen. Welcome to my channel, All of My Plants. Today I'm just puttering about and kind of looking at plants. I think the majority of them are plants that I have been working with recently, whether it was repotting or propagating or whatever. I did not count my plants last night. I did find a bottle of wine last night. I didn't count how many glasses of that I had either. This is an Anthurium that I recently got and recently put into leca, and I was a little bit hesitant to put it in leca. It's only been in here a few days and I can actually see where some of the roots have new growth. Not over many of them though. I guess it looks like two in particular that have done a little bit of growing. If I can not spill this all over the floor, that would be superb. Just two there. The other lowest leaf looks like it might be going. Overall, it looks okay. Wow, that is a really pretty sheen. Ooh, I don't think I'll be able to pick it up. But, oh, you know what? I'm going to put it in here so I don't know water everywhere. I'm going to try. Pick it up on camera, I mean, the sheen. It's so hard to pick up on camera. Particularly on video. Get some light on that thing. Yeah, you can kind of see it there with the light moving around it. It's so pretty. It does appear to have some spider mite damage. That was already there, but I don't see any actual mites, so I haven't been freaking out about it too much. But oh, I love the shine, the shimmer. So I reckon this one's doing pretty good. I really do wish I had some pawn or maybe smaller leca to put it in. I know Anthuriums like to be pretty damp. Maybe not all of them, but it's been my experience that most of them don't really want to dry out too much. Well, except for maybe the Clarinervium. That there has gotten very dry over the period of time that I've had it, and it hasn't been too terribly upset about it. For the most part, it's handled it okay. And that actually handled its repot really well. It's got a new leaf expanding, an emergent leaf. And the inflow that was on it is still on there. I didn't do anything with that. I have no plans to, didn't have any plans to. I'm not collecting pollen or anything off of it. It's still making pollen right now. It never had a receptive phase. It just went straight to male phase. So, pollen, I say male. This is the pot of Alocasia frydek corms and the two little bitty ones that I plucked off there. I made that pretty angry doing that. But, you know, this other one, it was a one leafer when I potted it up in there, and it's holding its own for now. It was already in pawn. I just potted them separately from the main plant, which also is throwing a fit, which is weird because it hasn't when I've repotted previously. So I don't know. I think it'll be alright. Like I say, sometimes they just kind of, they have to go through what they have to go through to live in their new pot. That's what I find with Alocasia. Some of them don't bat an eye. This is the Sport Alocasia Dragon Scale that I picked up not too long ago. It's really holding itself up just fine. One leaf is going, but I think it's just an older leaf. But the newest leaf came out, and of course it's got a hole in it, and of course it really doesn't have much in the way of variegation. You can see like maybe a yellow dot here and there, but not over much. I guess it's a good thing I didn't pay a fortune for this. But I did repot this on the channel not too long ago, and there's corms all over the place in there. I don't really see any of them making a move or doing anything just yet. Is this dry? It feels very light. The meters on these pots will lie to you. Nope, there's plenty of liquid in there. Okay, but yeah. So this one didn't really seem to mind being repotted at all. No leaves even turned yellow. That's just an old leaf that's drooping. So I don't know. I would really like to get a little bit more variegation on it though. I mean, the little freckles are cute, but it's not really what anybody wants when they want a variegated plant, is it? nor the hole. I don't know how I did that. That did happen in my care. This was the leaf that was hardening, I believe, when I got it. So this whole one, I'm responsible for all of that mess. This is my variegated lemon tree, which is flowering. It didn't flower outside all spring, summer, fall. It was actually looking pretty rough when I brought it in. This is a new leaf. The biggest leaf on this plant, it grew indoors. Maybe I was giving it too much sun outside. It was in full sun for quite a chunk of the day. I don't know, but it's flowering. And it smells kind of floral when I walk into this room, but I can't say that it's this plant. I'm not sure what it is or where it is. Does it smell like anything? Oh yeah, it does. But I don't know how to describe that. Look at that little bitty flower. Can you see it in there? Might focus on it. There's a couple. So it's been flowering kind of steadily for a week or so now. They're just white, and like when they're still in the bud, there's like a very pale pink at the base of the bud. I don't know, it's cute. It does seem to be doing better. That's another leaf it's grown since it's been indoors, these ones here. It's also very thirsty. I don't know why, but it's always dry. Like, you know, as far down in there as I can reach, jamming a finger in there, it's dry, and I just watered it a few days ago. Well, it is, I did intentionally put it in a pretty well draining mix because it is kind of, you know, citrus. So, I don't know, but I do like this plant. I hope I can keep it happy through the winter long enough to put it back outside, maybe in slightly less sun than what I had it in previously. The Monstera adansonii Indonesian mint, I think is what this is. I chopped it shortly after I got it, and this was the base of the plant, which probably needs water. Yeah, it does. It's shot out like 3 new growth points on there. So one back here, one there, and then one where it was cut. So that's cool. I'm debating, do I want to put this on a pole, or do I want to put them all on a pole? I think I still have another little pot of the cuttings. I think it's the top cut and then a single node cutting here. So maybe I'll put them all on together. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I am so paranoid about pests. The Bob C, which I was talking about in yesterday's video, Philodendron Bob C, it definitely had spider mites. We know that for sure. Someone else had suggested that that heavy speckling, that doesn't look like spider mite damage, and I agree. Or doesn't look like thrips damage, I'm sorry, and I agree for the most part. I've seen thrips damage look like brown corky spots on plants, and also the silver marks that people are talking about. I'm not 100% sure that it did or didn't have thrips. Don't know. Someone else had suggested maybe it was rust, which I'm like a bacterial or fungal thing, I'm sorry, which I'm pretty familiar with. I have a couple plants that are just, they're always going to have rust. As long as they exist in my collection, they'll have rust. One is Philodendron, is it Ring of Fire? That one there. It's always, I mean, no matter how much I treat it, like the new growth will come in and look okay. A few days later, I see spots on it. The other one is this Philodendron Snowdrift, which this was one of the first leaves on this plant when it really started popping up on there. This is the newest leaf, which why they're cupping, I don't know. Like, you know, very downward facing, the leaf itself. So this does have some on it still, even though I treat this. If I water it, I spray it with copper fungicide. And it helps if I really stay on top of it. And I do pretty well, I guess. It still has some, like I said, I still see it pop up. But this one has been a lot easier for me to keep it in check on than a lot of the other ones. I also had a Congo, red Congo. It was so bad, and I couldn't keep it under control on that plant at all. I ended up throwing that out years ago and haven't bought another one because of that. So I don't think it was rust on that, the Bob C, because generally I see it kind of moving up the plant, yes, but it doesn't seem to affect the whole plant all at once randomly, which is pretty much what happened to this. I mean, I walked by it one day and there was a couple spots on it, and it was on the lower leaves, but then all of a sudden the next day, literally, it was just covered in EFN, and it was something going on. I don't know. Maybe it is rust. Maybe it's just presenting in a way that I'm not used to seeing it present. I don't know. Either way, I feel better. It sounds terrible. I feel better having chopped up that plant, because it was so bad. It wasn't going to fix itself. Number one, that those spots are never going to go away no matter how much you treat the plant, or no matter how much I treated the plant. And regardless of the cause, they weren't just going to go away and get better. But the new growth was relatively unaffected, as far as I could tell. So I did go ahead and treat it with copper fungicide just in case, because I didn't really think about that at the time. But somebody had mentioned in the comments on yesterday's video. So thank you for that. Just in case, I did go ahead and use that. This is another Anthurium. It's probably been through as many 3 repots in as many months. It went from soil to pond to more pond, but in a deeper container. And this one is really doing very well in here. There's no growth or anything yet, but I just, like I said, I've repotted it kind of crazy. Oh, actually, there's a little bitty point sticking out there. So it looks like it's making a move, not just sitting there suddenly. So that's awesome. I'll show you the tag. Alright. Good job, Jen. This is Anthurium, Clarinervium, Pterodactyl, and Magnificum cross. Which way or who was involved when or where, I couldn't tell you, but that's how it was sold to me. So, sorry, I'm noticing a little bit of like web there. I'm not sure if we're talking spider web or, you know, webbing, let's say. Spider web or spider mite? I'm going to say spider web. Wow, the back of this is so glittery. The front's not too shabby either. Try to catch it so that you can see the glitteriness. It's very pretty. The front is also very nice. I really wish it would pick up the sheen like I see it. So anyway, this leaf has only been repotted once, but this one has been here through it all. Through, I'm gonna say 2, nope, 3, every repot this leaf has been there, basically. And it's really trying so hard to hang in there. So I don't actually see any spider mites on here, but I do see some like webbing. Like I said, could it just be regular old spider webs? Absolutely. I collect spiders apparently in this room, but I will take this and spray it off just in case, and I'm going to use just Captain Jack's for this. I generally don't put neem, or you know, that mixture that I talk about all the time, neem, tea tree oil, alcohol, soap, water. I don't generally put that on like velvety plants because it is sticky and it's kind of hard to get off of velvetier plants. So it's going here for the moment. Right back where you were. I'll sit there and look seductive. This Alocasia reginae, it's still no grow. It's still no grow. I don't see any roots. So this one is, oh yeah, there is one. One of the tiniest roots I've ever seen in my life. Right there. This is a little bitty guy. That one there is new. But other than that, we're still holding on to the leaves okay. I think it only had 3 leaves when I got it. 1 leaf went, I mean, it just crawled right up. This one here is definitely going. It's got crispiness. And then this one here, it's got some sort of spot on it there. It may or may not be visible. But other than that, it's holding itself up, so just wait longer. This is one of the Hoya obovata inner splash variegated. I think I have 2. They came from the same plant, but I chopped it up because it had both root mealies and it ended up getting flat mites also. Maybe it had them the whole time, but it took me a while just to find them. I'm not sure. But once again, to get rid of it, I've put it in regular soil with systemic, potting soil with systemic, and I do have new growth. This leaf is new. I'm not loving that they've come out a little bit misshapen. It may still have some flat mite issue. Not sure. I guess I need to look at it again. However, I don't see any of that kind of characteristic damage on the underside of the leaf, so we're at the base. And this leaf here is new and it's also coming, so, and there's more new growth, so I have hope for this one. The variegation is very low, very low. I don't care. It's splashy and it's pretty. Where's the other one? This is the other one. This was the base of the plant, and I had said I'm pitching that because the root mealies. I didn't actually end up pitching it. This was much easier for me to get rid of the flat mites on, but the root mealies persisted, and once again, it's in soil with systemics to get rid of it. This one, this is a new leaf. I think we were still fighting flat mites, but this is a new leaf that it's just recently put out, and it is looking much better, much more a normal sort of shape. It is hardened off. It is small, but mind you, I have traumatized this plant. I really have. Like I say, for flat mites, sometimes I'd try dunking them in hot water. But mostly anymore, I just keep them in the bathroom of shame and spray them every day, every 3rd day, if I'm, you know, slacking. But it seems to work okay. I know a lot of people say, you know, just dust the sulfur on, and that will do the trick. You don't have to keep doing it. But I tend to, when I water my Hoyas, they're also getting wet every single time I water them. I'm wetting the Hoya. So for me, the sulfur powder won't stay on because I'm rinsing them every time I'm watering them. I think I only have one Hoya that really goes a full week without water, and it's the Hoya, the regular Hoya obovata, because it's in a large pot. But everything else, most of the rest of them get watered maybe every 3 to 7 days, maybe a week. But even that, I'm just saying, they don't go a very long time without getting wet. The little Hoya houseplants, have no idea how to say that. This plant, this Hoya, it's doing really well. I just hauled it not too long ago. I don't know. I guess it's been over a month. I'm not sure. But it's been doing pretty good here. I never ever take it out of this cover pot for some reason, and now I'm having a hard time doing that. There we go. I haven't repotted it yet. I need to, though. I'm sure I do. But it's still got its little clover friend in there, too. I guess maybe you can see it. That's annoying. I'm pretty sure I pulled it out, or pulled one out, when I hauled it on the camera there. Okay, so I pulled it out again. I guess it'll be back the next time I show you. But yeah, it's doing really well. It's doing really well. I'm surprised it's not more sun stressed. I kind of do have the light a little bit lower over where the Hoyas live. Right now, you can see that the new growth comes in pretty colored, but it doesn't stay that way. And I think right now I've kind of just got a bunch of Hoyas shoved under there. Some of them really don't like to be sun-stressed. They don't grow as well, I find, when they're sun-stressed. So I've kind of got the light down because it's sharing space with, you know, plants that would appreciate it not being fried. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to wait to summer to sun-stress this one. I think it's lovely, even not sun-stressed. I don't have any complaints about this. It doesn't throw a fit if I, you know, miss a little bit of water, or maybe if I get a little enthusiastic and just water because I'm watering other things there. I don't even check this plant to see if it needs water. I just water it. I guess I just mean to say that that Hoya has been very forgiving and tolerant. So I just hauled this beginning of November. It's been here a little over a month now. Syngonium chiapens, variegated. And I've got a new leaf. And it looks like it's going to be a half moon. I don't love half moons. I mean, they're gorgeous, but I don't love it because of the potential for either the plant going full white after that or going full green, which I don't know. This might be okay. It's got variegation on, you know, the half that isn't full white, but very little green on this other side. I see a little bit right across the top edge of the ear, you know, up in this area. So I don't know. I don't know. It's very pretty though. And it's rooted pretty well, not into the pole at all yet. At all. I don't think the first root has found its way in there. No. Nope. And the pole is damp, so I don't know. But it's rooting great into the pot. Maybe you can see the new roots there. That's a long one. And it's also rooted down. Down into the, I guess it would be the reservoir. Maybe, I don't know if you can see through there. So, there's two actually. There's one going around the side and one kind of straight across the bottom. Yeah, it's been an easy enough plant. Easy enough plant. Haven't had any problems at all with it yet. Looks good. Looks good. Because I didn't have the best time with Syngonium Frosted Heart. I did for a while, until I didn't, you know, that kind of thing. It was going great. I couldn't tell you what went wrong with that plant, but it went real wrong when it went. So I'm hoping that I don't have that problem with this one, because I might actually cry. It needs water. So this is the ridiculous Anthurium radicans luxurians cross, Radlux, maybe it's luxurians radicans, Lux Rad, I don't know. It did lose a few leaves, and there's 3 in this pot. One of the growth points did die back, but it's shot out a different one, so that's great. This is one of the first leaves that it's put out, and then there's another one here. And is it dry? It could take some water. It could take some water. To be fair, this will be the second time. This will be the first time, other than when I potted it up, that I've watered this. So it's not looking terrible. It's not looking great, but it's not looking terrible either. I think it'll sort itself out, and then we'll get rid of some of the greenhouse leaves where they've got damage and, you know, just looking a little angry. Yeah, so that's one. We'll look at the other two too. We're here. This feels dry, but it's not. This is the second pot of it. Everything has spider mites as far as I'm concerned now. Everything. But I don't see anything. This one doesn't look too bad. It looks about the same as it did when I put it in here. It had another one that it was growing at the time. That first one, it's immediately spit this out. And it kind of seems to be just staying that way now. This one is in leca. Did I say pawn? I don't know. It's definitely leca. I don't know. Like I said, I kind of worry. I know people do grow anthuriums in leca, and wonderfully, but for me, leca is a very dry way of growing. Very dry. I might put it in the cabinet and see if it does better in there, at least till it gets rooting better. And then this is the third one. It had a much bigger root system. We definitely had one growth point on the larger leaved plant just dry up. Pardon me while I dig around. Okay, but I see another growth point, so right there. I guess it'll do all right. This other one didn't miss a beat. It's got a nice growth point coming out. I think this leaf here was kind of hardening when I repotted it. It looks a little funky, but it's all right. And so these are old greenhouse leaves here, but I've left them because they're still doing the work for this plant for now. This one is actually dry as well. So I'm going to water both of these, but yeah. Did I make them angry? Definitely. Do I think they're going to bounce back just fine and be better than ever? Mostly. I'm hoping. My microphone battery died, but there's really only a few more, so I just charged it a little. Also, it's Rode Go 2 is the type of microphone I have. Cannot recommend. After a year, the buttons don't work. You have to hit them just so. But anyway, Alocasia regal shield. This particular Alocasia has frequently made my favorites list over the years, and I still love it. I do. But this year, spider mites have just really been loving this plant. This is probably the smallest it's ever been. And don't get me wrong, it looks pretty good. It's growing in pawn because I had chopped this plant down this summer. I thought it had spider mites currently. I don't know, it's definitely got dust currently. I had chopped it down this summer because it was just, I've never seen a plant look worse with spider mites. Somebody else had recently actually commented on that video and said that wasn't spider mites, that was thrips. I don't know, either way it had a lot of damage. So I chopped it down to the corm. Well, it was several corms. I tossed a lot, but I kept 2 in this pot. And they've rooted in really, really nicely. Really, really nicely. So, this plant has not been mad at all about having to regrow in semi-hydro. It's grown very well. I'm going to need to up-pot it very soon. Mostly it's coming up above the rim of the pot now. The chonk down there, the stump, the trunk, what do you call it? I don't know what you call it. But anyway, so it's growing and doing quite well. Still constantly has spider mites. It's kind of been living out of this room because it's just been so spider mitey this year. I don't know what that's all about, but I do like it. I do like it. It is doing well. I know I kind of repotted it and then it just disappeared with that leaf facing straight up. I repotted it and then, oh, it's really soft still. Repotted it and then it just kind of went into the void, or it seemed to. It's still here. It's still around. I have a problem finding where to put this plant where it can get good light because it is a sprawler and I don't manage petioles on Alocasia. I know a lot of people will kind of tie them up. I don't mind them sprawling. It does take up more space that way for sure, and I guess maybe it would look tidier if I had them more upright, but it doesn't bother me either way. This is another one that did not have a great time in the greenhouse. Dieffenbachia reflector. This is one of the leaves that I've left from the greenhouse. I think it lost a lot in the greenhouse, but I actually removed a couple because they looked worse than that. It does seem to be growing much better since coming in. Got a new leaf there. I think I'm going to cut this and try to water propagate it because it's not in the pot real good. It just really had a hard summer. This is not attractive like this. So I think it was drying really quick, and while, you know, you don't have to drown your Dieffenbachia, your Bachias, wait, that's not right either. You don't have to drown them, but It does get very hot and dry in the greenhouse, and this plant did suffer for it quite a bit. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to water propagate the top, and I guess I'll hang on to the stump because I can see a growth point down in there where it may or may not grow from. Right down in there. And it does have a little buddy over there already, but that's not looking good either. It hasn't really done much, and it's been there for quite a while. Quite a while. I don't know. It's in this ridiculous square thing because it just falls over. The whole pot just falls over if I don't put it in something at this point, because that's so sad. So I really like this plant. I generally don't do a super good job with Dieffenbachia. Like, it's pretty. It is pretty. When it's happy, which I'm not making it very happy. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna keep trying. Do better, Jennifer. So this one here, I think this is the last one, other than a couple. I've moved some propagations around, and I'll kind of show you where I've shoved those for the moment. Sorry, my throat is bothering me. Hoya zabina. And I think I've been giving it too much light. Like, I really like this bright color, which it needs good light, really. But it's gotten kind of muddy looking on some of the plant. I think I've just overdone it with the light, so I'm going to pull that back a bit. That, and it's drying very, very quickly. Very, very quickly, and I just repotted it. So, I mean, it's grown quite a bit. It was not all these little arms that it's got now. It did not have all that. I think it was in a 1 inch, inch and a half pot, little bitty thing. Maybe 2 inch pot, but, you know, and it had, I think, one little arm started. Its arms are growing arms at this point, so, but I am going to pull back on the light a little bit and try to get it a little, try to keep it, I'm sorry, a little bit more well hydrated. I do like this plant quite a bit. I think it's the cutest thing, but yeah, I need to do better for it. It's so cute. I'll put it aside for water with the Anthuriums. Okay, so I had propagations in these, and you may have noticed yesterday I put more propagations in one of these, the Bob C. But what I did with what was in there was I stuck them in this terrarium jar. This was part of day 11's lost footage. So yeah, I just took whatever looked okay, mostly things that were already growing, and stuck them in here. A lot of the stuff I still didn't quite figure out what it was. Some of the stuff I have ideas. I don't know, I guess we'll see as they get bigger, if they get bigger. If they get bigger. I think they'll be okay. I never water this. I will not water it, but I also don't air them out. I had stuff growing in it this time last year that I had pulled out. The only thing I have left of that actually is my Philodendron brantianum, I think. And I never watered it. I didn't water it for over a year. When I had opened it, it hadn't been watered in a really long time. So that's just living back there in that corner for now. I had a bunch of other things that I chopped up. The Monstera albo I've moved in the bottom of this cabinet. Not because they need it necessarily, but because they're in water. They're rooting in water. And my cat can't knock them over in there. I had a bunch of other water propagations, which are over here on this shelf. I'll show you. Okay, so there's some down here in this bin. Sorry, I'm jittery. Which is kind of under where the Bob C was yesterday. They're in the bin, once again, because they don't get knocked over by the cats. They don't dry out quite as quickly. And kind of helps to boost the humidity a little bit for these guys. You can kind of see the, is that 69686 right here at the edge? And also the Florida Ghost in there. So there's just a variety of cuttings in there. Most in water, some are in moss, like the elbow nodes are down there in moss. But yeah, so that's that one. And then there's this like terrarium. Well, it's a fish tank, but we'll call it a terrarium because there's plants in there. Sure. And it's things that just either haven't been doing stupendous or once again, water propagations. There might be a couple in moss in there as well. So they're just in there because this is actually a pretty dark space over here. And it wasn't really working for much else. I had Cebu Blue up there, Philodendron tripartitum, and a Calathea. And they weren't loving it. It wasn't enough light even for the Calathea. So it's kind of making use of a space that was otherwise not extremely useful in a plant room. So one more, because I forgot this one. Alocasia, Jacqueline, Tanderusa, whatever we're calling it. I don't like her. I don't like her at all. I burnt it there. But the issue with this plant was it had root mealy bugs in pon. Which I've never seen them on an Alocasia before. But I have new root growth. I mean, I can see it. Right there. But I don't see any root mealies. You know, I pull it up and check every once in a while. More new root. How I got rid of them, I think. Not swearing that they're gone, but like I said, I haven't noticed any lately. Was systemic. So hopefully I've got that problem under control. If I can keep spider mites off of it, that'll be super. But at the base, I think I just showed it maybe a week ago. I don't know. And it had 2 points that had just stopped growing. I can't remember which two, but there's 2 there. And then there's this right here. Whether or not we're actually going to get growth from that, I don't know. Time will tell, I suppose. Because this plant has been very annoying. I'm kind of definitely at a place where if this particular one, this particular Jacqueline, or whatever we're supposed to call it now, I don't know. If it dies, I'm not going to be that upset. It's been very frustrating, very frustrating. When I first got it, it grew okay, and then it just suddenly stopped, which told me something was going on. It was the root mealies, I assume. I don't know, it's just been a not so great grower for me. Maybe it's this particular specimen, so like I said, if this dies, I'm not going to be that upset. I'll keep trying with it as long as it's showing effort. But if I saw one that I was healthy and I got it from a different seller, I would maybe pick it up. Maybe. I don't know. That's the last one though, for real this time. Oh, I just poked myself in the eye with a plant. Ripsalis got me. Alright, so hopefully leaning on this desk doesn't mean that it's going to fall on the floor today. So I had a video not too long ago that said last plant haul of the year. Maybe. I'm going plant shopping tomorrow. My husband offered to take me. It would be rude of me to say no. So it's to one of my favorite plant shops. It's the one up in Delaware that I talk about quite a bit in my videos. He wants to go up there anyway for some, you know, actual Christmas shopping. And he's like, hey, yeah, if you want to go to Peppers, we'll go to Peppers. I was like, sweet, sign me up. I think that's just his way of bribing me into going out to Christmas shop. It's working, but I'm not excited about the Christmas shopping part. So I will be gone all day tomorrow, and I will not have time to film. So either I'm going to try to film a second video later this evening, or I'm going to be filming and uploading pretty late tomorrow evening. We'll see how that shakes out. But anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me, and come back and check me out again soon. Bye.